Thank you for joining us. This is the LearningRx franchise and license webinar. We're going to talk about one-on-one brain training and different ways you can offer it in your community. I like to start out with this picture, which is one of our centers. And what you see is some of our graduate students. So at this particular center, they put paint on their hands and then they handprint the wall. And if you look really closely, they'll talk about the real life improvements that happened in their life, as well as different changes in their cognitive skills. So it sort of gives that really human aspect to what we do, which is quite a life-changing business for people to be a part of. So today we're going to talk about how you can offer a business in your community and change lives through personal one-on-one brain training all at the same time. We have programs that help anyone learn easier, think faster, or perform better at any age, from preschool to seniors. And I'm going to show you some of the research we've been doing recently with brain injury in adults, which puts us in a whole new class for educational or child franchises, because a lot of times during the day, if you have a child-related business, you have an empty center. And by having adults that we can work with, it offers a whole new business for you during the day. So pretty exciting. I'm Tanya Mitchell, and you can see there I have 4 kids and a husband. 3 of my kids have been through LearningRx, and sometimes I talk about them. And then Christina, who is with me, she's on the right. She's our recruitment coordinator. I'm just going to turn on the webcam real quick so that you can see us. And I did just get back. There's Christina, wave hi. So she's going to, if you have any questions during the webinar, she's going to be taking your questions down. So go ahead, chat away. So okay. she's excited because today we're not going to do a live demo on the procedures. Usually I do that, but I am fresh back from a family trip and not completely jet lagged, but not ready to do like brain training, which takes some good mental training. So we're going to have a demo for you at the end. So the 2 of us work together to help take people through the process of either becoming a franchisee or a licensee. We also offer Gibson testing, and so we're the team. And so if you decide to have a call with us, then you'll be speaking with one of us through the process. You can see Christina also has 4 beautiful kids, and Christina and I are old friends. She was a Navy wife with me on Whidbey Island over 17 years ago. So we must both be good people, right? Because we hung out so long. All right, enough about that. Okay, so today we have this webinar, which we're recording for you, but we also have some other webinars. So if you have questions on how brain training helps people with attention issues or reading issues or seniors that need help or brain injury, you can go to learningrx.com/webinars, and there's a lot of different webinars that talk about the research and things that we have in each one of those areas. So I encourage you to do that. And I do have that down as something that Christina will send you after the webinar so that you have that link. And then we will also send you a recording of this webinar. So LearningRx is an award-winning franchise. We've received awards for the last 15 years for fast growth, hot system, best low-cost franchise, top 10 franchise, Entrepreneur 500, and actually even in the last year or so here, this has more than last year, you can see we received awards. So our newest award, our 2 newest awards were low cost franchise with Entrepreneur Magazine, which is great. I love their magazine. And then this Franchise 50 Business Review, which is a franchisee satisfaction award. And this is a really important award to look for when you're working with a franchise system, because you come into a system, and many times it's with no expertise in the area, and so you are hoping that you get great support and great training from your franchisor. So this award means a lot, because this is looking at people that have been in our system and are happy. So you want to look for this. There's about 5,000 different systems that you can be a part of. So to be a part of an elite group of 50 franchises, this is within the child industry, means a lot. And these were some of our top scores. So this was on a rating scale of 5, but our franchisees love our products and services. They enjoy being part of this organization, which is made up of a lot of people that want to have a business, but they also want to do something unique and special, and something with a high impact. And then they like the integrity of the franchisor. That's important. We also receive very high marks for franchisees supporting each other, which is one of the reasons why you want to be part of a system, is so that you're not doing something by yourself, but you have all this support from other people trying to do the same thing all across, different demographics. And so they like the support of both the brand and of each other. So today in this webinar, we're going to cover a background of LearningRx and the founder, the learning model, brain training, current research, client outcomes, and then go through some license options and training in the end. And then we'll have a Q&A time. So at any time during this webinar, feel free again to post your questions. And I am working a little bit on jet lag, so I just see if I'm not as lively, that's why. Okay, so just a little bit about the founder, Dr. Ken Gibson. He is my father. Back in 1995, fresh out of college, I was the first non-doctor to run a brain training center. I had 12 trainers at that time, and we were licensing professionals from all around the country. We actually doubled every single year with our licensees based solely on our programs. We were doing zero marketing at the time, and it was just by word of mouth and the incredible need for programs like this. So he started as a vision specialist or an optometrist, focused mainly with kids. At the same time, learning was very important to him. He had struggled to read when he was a kid, even though he knew he was really smart. And that sort of created a passion for him to help people learn better and read better. So he has 5 kids. I'm the number 3. And when the oldest kid needed a preschool, he couldn't find one that he thought was good enough. So he started a chain of preschools. He started several private schools, and then he also started these learning centers focused on sensory motor integration and vision therapy, and sort of group training, pretty old school type of therapies back in the 60s and 70s, but he wasn't getting the type of result that he wanted, which was to create this good learner and reader. He added some of his own methods, including more of an intense training, loading, something called loading, which we'll talk about, and created a really outstanding program for optometrists, called it the Vision Improvement Program, and licensed over 300 optometrists worldwide. He is considered one of the pioneers in visual processing improvement. At the same time, he had 8 practices in Wisconsin, and so he offered a separate practice management license, because a lot of times professionals are trained in their profession, but not trained how to run a business. And so he offered this license based solely on profit at that time. So the more profit they made, that's what they paid him. In the 90s, new research came out on why people have difficulty reading, and it wasn't due to sensory motor integration, it wasn't due to reversals, it wasn't due to things that we all think. It was really due to things outside of his profession. So he changed his program. He added auditory processing component, took away a lot of the sensory motor integration and vision therapy, and started licensing psychologists and educators in the 90s. I joined him in 95, and we grew that to about 500 licensees. But none of the licensees did as well as we did when it came to the business side of it. And so we had moved here to Colorado Springs, Colorado, and opened a center in 2002, really to show all of our licensees how to grow a successful business. And in the first quarter, we were so successful. In fact, we made 3 times more in our first quarter than any licensee had done all year long. And I think it just made us realize that if we can teach people how to run this business and delegate so that you can help a lot more people, that we can help a lot more people. So we decided to franchise, and we took a year to learn about franchising. Most of the executive team has something called a CFE, which is like a master's in franchising. So we learned about franchising and started franchising in 2003. And we currently, so we've been franchising over 15 years now. And we have centers all around the country. We also still license. We have clinical licenses for doctors that don't want to leave their full profession. And then internationally, we have BrainRx licenses. By the way, there's 2 books here, Unlock the Einstein Inside. And we're going to give you links at the end so that you can download both of these books, The Purpose-Directed Business, whether or not you decide to work with LearningRx. If you are going to go into a service business, you want to read that book. So he is a learner of all things, and throughout my life, I've been given books. So if you name all the great business books, I had to read those all my life, and his business book may be one of my favorites. So it's very simple, to the point, and really I think sets people up for success when it comes to business. It's also a real good insight into how we work with and how we train franchisees on how to work with their customers and operate their business. So just a little bit more about LearningRx. Our focus at LearningRx is to strengthen these 7 core cognitive skills. These are the same skills that would make up someone's processing, IQ, and we can work with anyone from 4. Our oldest client was 95. We do specifically one-on-one brain training. So even if it's mixed with some digital, which we have, there's always this one-on-one component, which is what really has gotten results outside of all the things that you see. One-on-one training makes that life change. It makes the leap into really affecting their life. And a couple of years ago, we celebrated training over 100,000 brains trained. Our programs are based on over 35 years of research. We have a new institute called the Gibson Institute of Cognitive Research that was started in 2014. We've completed 20 studies, and we're starting new studies now. In our first study, this is not our average, but in our first study, we had a 21-point gain in IQ, which is incredible. So just to give you an idea where our centers are located, we are registered in all 50 states in the United States. So anywhere you want, we do have prime territories available. And our territories are about 200,000. I'll show you what that looks like in just a minute. But we have plenty of area for you. And we've really set ourselves up, even in the last year, to have high growth in the next couple years by lowering our franchise fee and the estimated initial investment, so that we can just grow this thing and have a lot more people part of it. So just a little bit about our Colorado Springs Center, which is where I currently live. It was opened in 2002. This really is sort of middle-class demographics, anywhere from 70,000 to maybe 90,000 household income. This center is an employee-operated center, and we implemented a brain lab, which is some digital training to mix in with our one-on-one training in 2018, and that had a really nice impact both on revenue and profit. And we only did that because when we had finished one of these randomized control trials, which is a new standard for brain training, we added this brain lab for the control group, and they got very good, significant results. And so kids liked it, and it worked for the business part of it. So we've implemented it. We're implementing it right now across our system. So total revenue charged. So this is Colorado Springs. So last year, the revenue was $537. Revenue collected was $477. We do have some payment plans. You see total expenses, net operating income. By the way, this is part of our earnings claims. We have a very detailed earnings claim. Our goal was a 20% profit. We did have a 20% profit. Average revenue charge per student. This is lower than the rest of the system. Probably because we live in a sort of a conservative area of the country where a lot of parents want to do some of the training themselves. And then this gives you a whole list of costs. And this is important because when you're getting involved in a business, you want this type of transparency, right? So you can see here. For a new franchisee coming in, of course, profit. And then this administrative payroll down here, that would be discretionary because you might be doing some of those activities or you may hire people to do some of those activities, but it gives you an idea of what our center has done here as an employee-operated center. So this is the territory for Colorado Springs. We have this territory information, and after your first call, if you have an area where you would like to see demographics, we're happy to send that to you. Here's those demographics. So, and Colorado Springs is right up against mountains. That's why it's, that way. Air Force Academy is to the north. Peterson Air Force Base is to the east. Fort Carson is to the south. But you can see here we have zip code information, population. Our average student has been 10 to 14 for many years. So we look at how many, people of that age are in the community, median household income, and then we can look at how many people earn over 100,000 in each zip code. So you can see here that two best zip codes are 80920 and then the 80918. So it's very helpful in deciding where you want to put your location. This is our estimated initial investment. This is for franchising. And so when we say 149,000, you can see that's a mixture of your franchise fee, training fee. Our training fee, by the way, includes 2 on-sites at your location, sort of grand opening, job shadowing, training here for up to 4 people. Marketing launch fund, we have a marketing coach that works with you for your first year, weekly calls to help you learn about marketing. A lot of times when we talk to candidates, that's the #1, concern is, I don't know a whole lot about marketing. So I have a passion to help people. I want to do this, but I don't know anything about marketing. You get a marketing coach and a sales coach every single week for your first year until you say to them, you know what, I'm good. I've got this. It includes, costs when you come to training, your rent, fixtures. So a full estimated initial investment is $149,000 for most people. If you live in an area where I could go out 10 miles either way or 20 miles, and there'd be less than 100,000 people, we offer a micro franchise. And that estimated initial investment is $90,000. This is a protected territory, which means we're not going to put licensees or other franchisees, within your territory. That is your protected area. We also offer international licenses. We're currently in 47 countries, including the US. And we're licensing right now, so we're not ready to franchise anywhere. We're very focused on the US. We have a team out of United Kingdom that supports all of our licensees for BrainRx, and they come with educations from Harvard and MIT. So only the best for our BrainRx licensees. And we also have masters, so we have people that do what I'm doing here for the US, which is they take an area, they find people interested in offering these programs, they sell licenses, train them, and then support them. So some good background, but neuroplasticity and brain training is, it's still this new area, lots of attention, lots of money put into brain research, and lots of interest from parents. So, I have 4 kids, as I said, 3 of my kids have been in training, not just because I'm with Learning RX, but because they needed training. So there's a great need for what we do. These are some market watchers. So Forbes magazine felt that cognitive training would be the next $1 trillion industry. And then there's some other market watchers here who look at a huge rate of growth for this market. So what is this brain training? So this is a learning model, and this is a mixture. So if you're a professional, this is a mixture of about 3 different learning models together. But what you do is you have an input. So let's say I said something like, spell Mississippi, and you had to attend to it, and I said, spell it as fast as you can. And this is one of those words like a lot of people will practice. So it might be new, or it could be known. If it's known, you go straight to your knowledge bank and you can output it. So if I said spell Mississippi, you might say it's M-I-S-S-I-S-S-I-P-P-I. And very quickly, you're able to do that. Now, what if I asked you to spell the first president of the United States, spell his last name, but spell it backwards as fast as you can? So let me say that again. I want you to spell the last name of the first president of the United States, but backwards. Okay? So ready, go. So it would be N-O-T-G-N-I-H-S-A-W, or Washington. So you had an input, you had to attend to it, you used your working memory. Many of you might have thought, oh, how am I going to do that? Some people use auditory processing skills. A lot of people use visual processing skills. So you go to sort of those higher thinking areas, and then you're able to go to the knowledge bank. And so no matter what task you're doing, whether it's driving a car, having a conversation, trying to learn something new, playing sports, working, doing a presentation, it requires certain cognitive skills. People that have these skills are really good at those tasks, and then people that don't have those skills a lot of times avoid those tasks altogether. So what happens when someone has difficulty with memory or reading? Academically, that doesn't work well. So this is one of our procedures that we have, attention arrows. And as I mentioned, we're going to send you a demo link so that you can view some of our procedures just to get an idea of brain training. So just like if you were to go to a personal trainer at a gym, you're going to be doing different exercises, but based on who you are and what goals you have, they're going to make sure that they're catered to the outcomes that you want. And so that's what happens in our centers. If you were to go into a center, you would see a table, trainer, student sitting at the table. There's a metronome there, which adds, you'll see that on demo, adds some intensity. And then there's cards. These are logic cards here, but there's different tasks that we do. We have about 200 different procedures that we can do with someone. But these are the keys to effective brain training. It has to include one-on-one training. I'm going to show you a study in just a second that shows what happens when you don't add the one-on-one component. It must be feedback-based. You have to be able to see where they are, when they get frustrated, when they get bored. It has to be properly sequenced so they don't shut down. To get real results that are automatic and fast, you have to add a loading component. And that is when you're doing 3 or 4 things at a time. So repetition of an activity, we know it does not get a successful result as if sort of like interval training, right? So when you're trying to physically train your body, you work up to a level that you can barely handle, and you work there for as long as you can, and then you drop down and you try to get up to that level again. The same thing is true for the brain. So we have to work up to levels people can barely handle by adding additional tasks, and that's where you're going to get development of new skill. It needs to be targeted to the area that they need help with. Just to give you an idea of what that looks like, we have research on over 5,000 clients that were diagnosed with ADHD, attention deficit, right? Attention was the 4th lowest skill. There were 3 other skills lower than attention. So if I think, oh, they have an attention deficit, so I'm going to focus on developing attention skills, I'm going to miss the boat, right? It has to be targeted to where they have difficulties. And then it's largely non-academic, and kids love that. So here's that randomized controlled trial. This is an independent randomized controlled trial. And you can see there was a control group, there was a digital training group, so they just did a computer program, and then the one-on-one training. And you can see the digital training is very similar to the control. What does that mean? It means that they didn't get much result. And that's one of the things that you really have to watch for when it comes to this type of training. Most of the research that you see is based on digital training, and therefore it doesn't look that good. But when you add this one-on-one component and you add those ingredients that I was talking about, then we blow things away. It's amazing. So people tell me it's a miracle. What you did for my child is a miracle. It's not. It happens with every single client. Your brain is very trainable. This is another randomized control trial. This looks at that one-on-one training on the left compared to a combination training. So part of it's digital, part of it's one-on-one, and you can see the results are very similar. So that's why we switched to a brain lab. Our average IQ improvement, and IQ is made up of 6 of those different areas. So it's there's all different types of IQ scores, right? But it's a very robust IQ score based on 6 different tests. So if you had a 15-point change in IQ, what would that mean for someone? So my son, one of my sons, came in, and he was very impulsive, and he tested at a 103, which is just extremely average. So he tested at 103. He had some very low skills in short-term memory and processing speed. And then after his first round of training, which is probably about 90 hours, he tested at 114, which is high average. And so he was able to read well, but he was still really impulsive. He went through training again, and he tested at 132, which is awesome. So it got rid of his impulsivity, where he was at least. So now he's just a normal teenager, which is still difficult. And the good news is that this type of training, you can see this IQ score here before and after. So you have age 5 IQ to seniors, right? So people that are above 60 plus. Look who had the biggest changes cognitively across the board. It's the seniors. Can we help people that are older than 17? Absolutely. Can it make a difference in their life? No doubt. In fact, we were recently published in a major science journal, Psychology and Neuroscience, and it looked at just the everyday improvements for people above age 55. It was better memory. I don't need assistance. I can drive. I can work now. All those things that you'd want to come from this type of training came from it. And again, those 6 areas would be to make up that IQ score would be working memory, processing speed, logic and reasoning, auditory processing, long-term memory, and visual processing. And that was based on the Woodcock, which is one of the major IQ tests. Why is that so important? Like I said, they come here with a cluster of weak cognitive skills, and you can see dyslexia here. Here's that attention deficit. So you see the attention score on the right. But they had a cluster of weak cognitive skills, and that's probably why we get such incredible reviews and testimonials, is because we're going to the source of the issue. It's not a cookie cutter program for people. It's very focused on the areas that they want improvement. Autism, brain injury. Brain injury was new to us. We did a whole webinar on the the start of our brain injury group, which was in 2007. A soldier came home and he had lost his ability to read. And so we were taking him through just to help him read. We had no idea that you could, improve a broken brain. And after the program, his results were so incredible that all his buddies that were within the same unit went through. So most of these brain injury results are with soldiers. And this is interesting. So this is looking at some of the research, but this connects those cognitive test results that you saw with actual physical changes in the brain. So this was an independent randomized control trial that we had, that the greater the change on the cognitive test result, the bigger the improvement in the brain. And so some people will say, how do you get that result? You must be teaching them the test or something like that. You cannot fake an MRI scan. So if they're getting the biggest change in auditory processing, that's what showed the biggest change on this study. And this is within a new research result report, which Christina will send you. I'll write it down. So it has that study. It has all these different studies I'm talking about, and over 21,000 clients we've had. And then brain injury is this area. And when I say, we improve a broken brain, the normal brain is on the right here. So that's a normal brain scan on a default mode network. So you can take all different types of pictures, but this is a default mode network picture, which means they're not supposed to do anything. They just sit in there. And this was a control. So we used the same machine, and we had the control come in and come after to show that their brain had not changed. And then you can see these dramatic changes with brain injury. They go from very damaged brains to virtually normal or normalizing brains. And that's what you would be doing if you work with LearningRx. And this is not, these are different mental activities that you do with them. It just works. If you do any QEEG type testing, all I can tell you, the blue is not good. So the blue shows likelihood issues with depression and memory deficits. And then on the other side here, the white brain, that's after training, and that shows improvements in mood, depression, and memory. So, and if you like research like I do, you can go to Gibson Research, Gibson Institute of Cognitive Research, gibsonresearchinstitute.org. To see what we're up to, and we're writing grants right now for brain injury and seniors. Now, that's not to say that this is easy. We're not a miracle pill. You don't show up, take a class, and then all of a sudden they're better. This is really hard work, and so when we went and looked at before and after pictures on Google. And these are some of the pictures that came up, right? So this top one, you can see that obviously he physically, did something. He probably was on a special diet, but we know that's taking hours, probably months of time. The lady on the top right, she did yoga, which I always find impressive. So, wow, isn't that incredible? Have you ever seen that before? Someone has a curved back. They physically do some activities over a course of months with hours or years, and then they have a straight back. Who knew, right? And then on the bottom, this was John Keller. He was our student. This is him leaving the hospital after 350 days. A few years later, he started our training as a first grade, like a 6-year-old cognitively. And it was life-changing for him. He has his own book. It's called Vital Connections, and we will send you a copy of that book as well. So the training, we have 8 different programs for the franchise. You can see them here. ThinkRx is our core program. Liftoff would be the preschool version of that. ReadRx, we have a lot of students that go in that. We also have a MathRx program that actually does average a 21-point gain in IQ. ComprehendRx, Brain Booster, Brain Camp is an after-school program, and then Brain Skills is our digital product. We have thousands and thousands of testimonials from very happy clients. And you can look at our reviews. You can go to learningrx.com, LearningRx reviews. You can go to studentshoutouts.com and see actual video testimonials from clients. You can look at Birdeye. You're going to find a 4.9 out of 5 stars on thousands of testimonials. And then we do our own surveys. So at the end of a program, when a client is done, we have them go to a kiosk and we have them ask what is considered the ultimate question in business, which is on a scale of 0 to 10. How likely are you to refer your friends or family? And we have kept this average because our franchisees and our program is that good, but we have kept that average at a 9.6 out of 10, and out of thousands and thousands of clients surveyed. So this is 22,000, but this, we actually have more now, and it's still 9.6 out of 10. And what that means is you're offering, I've never seen this average before of any business. That includes the greats like Apple and Southwest and USAA, which is my insurance. So you get this prime product that's life-changing, and people are very, very happy with what you're offering. And this shows some of our franchisees, and we do have franchisees with all different backgrounds. We have one person on here with a good marketing background. Now he is one of our top franchisees. So if you have a good marketing background, that's very helpful. If you enjoy talking to people, that's going to be really helpful. But on this, we have teachers, we have executives, accountants, we have professionals, we have doctors, and then we have people that were parents that really wanted to help their kid. Here's a picture of, this is a couple years ago in Dubai, and you can see we work with people all over the world, and what a great thing to be a part of. So I remember sitting there the first time thinking, you know, a lot of people think, I want to change the world. And here my father's program is literally doing that, you know, so it's sort of a dream come true to help people all over the world. So as far as the support goes, you can see here what the franchisee would get versus if you're a licensee, we support the training and you know, all things about the training. And then for the franchisee, it's all about training and business at the same time so that you can be the most successful. And with that, our franchisees get a lot of different marketing tools. Right now, our top marketing obviously is going to be digital. That's where people are looking and researching. But we also have direct mail, radio, TV commercials, and we do a lot of networking. This is a look at one of our centers. I say it's in between something like a doctor's office and a Starbucks. So they're anywhere from 1,200 to 1,800 square feet. You can do a lot of revenue in 1,200 square feet, especially with this brain lab. So, and we have build out plans for 1,200, 1,400, or 1,800 square feet. It comes with a lounge and reception area, and then you're looking for 10 to 14 different training areas, which you can see is just a table and some chairs. And this is what some of those centers look like inside. And so we'll have some open rooms. A lot of times, you know, our centers will have a couple of rooms that they could use for testing, which you do want to have, you know, be quiet, or maybe for that adult student that doesn't want to be in the mix with kids. Here's some of our networking. If you like going and talking to people, this is a good option for you because we have such great research now. We've been published over 10 times in the last 2 years. And we also have over 13 different presentations that you can offer. You know, Fill Your Brain at Work, Pillars of Brain Health, Dyslexia, Ingredients of Successful Brain Training. We teach you how to do lunch and learns. We've literally written a book on how to network and do trade shows and do presentations. And we're at a 35% referral rate because our franchisees are very good at this and they're very focused on this. So if something that's important for you is to be out there among the people and educate, be sort of that expert in your community, this is probably going to be a good fit for you. And this is our top performer. So I recently asked a group of franchisees that have been consistently successful for many years, and what that means for them is high revenue. What makes you successful? And they would say all of this. They're competitive, they're passionate about the area, they're persuasive, they're decisive. They have above average sales potential, even if they've never done sales before, probably because they're so passionate. They enjoy consultations. Talking with parents is one of the highlights of their day. And the other thing I got was perseverance and self-responsibility. So the most successful people are people that think they're responsible for their success, and they wake up every morning, and in a fight or flight situation, they're fighters. They persevere. They consistently get up and look forward to their business every single day, and that's important for success. As I mentioned, we have different options. So we have the franchise option, which that franchise fee of $25,000 is not going to stay there. Maybe for the rest of the year, but that is a lot lower, really just to jumpstart, back into franchising. We've been working a lot internationally. We've added maybe 40 different licensees in the last 2 years. Then we also have a clinical license because we understand the need to have this type of training in clinics and doctors' offices. So we do have that option. And then if you love this stuff, but you're not sure if the business is right for you and you're in an area that is not close to another franchise location, we do have an individual coach license as well. And this sort of breaks up the different fees that we have. All of this information is in a LearningRx information kit, which we're going to send you a link to. So it has all these different graphs, has those number images I showed you, so you can get a closer look at it. So these are our dates. Our next discovery day is next Monday. That is by invitation only, which means that you are a qualified candidate. But if you are interested in possibly attending our July training, we do discovery days with a video conference. And so if you're interested in this July training, you want to talk to us this week so we can get you an FDD, which you need to have at least 15 days before training. Or we have a November training. And so you can enjoy your summer. We take you through the process. You get approved. You could come out for a discovery day or do this online discovery day. And then we have training in November. We also have a PACE training, June 18th. That is almost booked, but I don't know if it's still available or not, or October. And then for BrainRx, which also has a reading program now, which is new in the last year, we have trainings in UAE, like in Dubai or Abu Dhabi, in the UK, or a lot of our masters do trainings depending upon where they're located. So that would just be a call with me so that we could set you up with the right training. So who are our top performers? We offer several ways for you to find out if you're a good fit. One of them is we look at those demographics for you, so you can get information on that. Another one is we offer a free survey, which is like a DISC personality profile, to see what type of franchisee would you be with LearningRx. Would you be a good fit? And who would you need to hire based on your profile and your tendencies and things you like? Who do you need to hire to do those things that are very important, but you probably won't do them? So we look at it two different ways. And this is our process. So with our franchise process and with our license process, we are not here to sell you something that's not a good fit. And just like you want to find the right franchisor, we want to find the right franchisee for us. So we approve you as a franchisee as well as you approve us. So we would have a short informational call, get to know each other, look at maybe some of the demographics in your area and the possibilities. Then we do qualification. If you need help with financing, we have someone that you can work with, and she's great and fast and quick, and she can give you all these different options. She's not, she doesn't work with us. She's just someone that we like to refer people to. Then we do our FDD call, franchise disclosure document, go over any other fees that we have, restrictions, territory information, all of that. And then we want to connect you with some franchisees. So if you're close to a franchisee, maybe go visit them or have calls with them on the phone. And then we go to Discovery Day, where you can do that online Discovery Day, or you can come here, and that's your approval process. Once you're approved a franchisee, they're going to start working with you on your business plan, location help if you need it with, ideas of where best to locate, a timeline on the other steps, and then you go to job shadowing and training. So that's sort of our process. All right, there's our awards again. Okay, so we do have a new phone number. Write this down, 719-359-5550. And or you can email us to set up a call. Our first call would, we have an hour for the call, but if you have 30 minutes of questions, then it's 30 minutes. So our goal with you is to be transparent and let you know. I've shared a lot of our strengths, let you know any weaknesses, just make sure you're a good fit. So we don't want just successful franchisees, we also want happy franchisees. That's our ultimate goal. So let me go ahead and give you all a couple minutes to set up any questions that you have. So let me just see if I think I already have some questions here. All right, so here's a question we have. More. Okay. You mentioned that Dr. Ken Gibson has vision improvement program. Can BrainRx assist with vision improvement? Absolutely. So our, his first program was really visual processing. And if we go back to look at, let me just find this learning model. There are many parts of your learning and performance, obviously, that are visual. In fact, I think more people probably understand the visual part than how important the auditory part is. But on this list here, processing speed, working memory, logic and reasoning, long-term memory, and visual processing all would be within that visual processing area. And so auditory processing was what he added. And then sensory motor integration, for an optometrist was more like how the eyes work together. Some of that is still in the program, but the focus is going to be these 7 core cognitive skills. So when he was called out as a pioneer of visual processing training, it was because of these areas that he's been working in that, are in everything he does. So all parts of the program would have this included in it. Let me see here. I just came back from a very cold Ireland. I was just thinking about how nice it is to be back in Colorado. Let me tell you guys, if you, if you're in the States, you're going to be so happy that the training is here. So I'm just enjoying, I have a window here that I can see outside. It's so pretty here. Any other questions that I can help you with today? So on my list, I have to send you a demo link, a webinars link, both for these learning webinars, as well as we'll send you this recorded webinar, our research report, a link to Vital Connections, and then this LearningRx info kit. And go ahead and set up a call with me. So I'm in town for the next couple weeks. and I would love to have a conversation with you. Thank you so much for joining us, and we look forward to working with you. So we'll send you this recording, so you all take care. Thank you.